Folks, and welcome to my top 100 board games of all time. Ooh, this is where it's getting tougher and tougher to move up the list here, but these games are excellent. I'm going to go right into this one. My number 30, my buddy Josh comes in at the end of the year, first time, so next week he'll be in, and we play a bunch of games together, and I brought out this game, The Magnificent. Now, last year I had this ranked at like 51 or something like that, and I played it with him, and I said, what do you think? And I think he enjoyed it. Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he loved it. But after he left, I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to play this game a lot this year. And I did, man. I played with my nephews. I had a great time. Played with my gaming group. At first, I didn't understand how the snow expansion was really good. But now, my nephew, of course, leave it to him to figure out how to win through the snow expansion. Snow expansion is really great. And we've incorporated it into all of our games there. It's got weird art. I'm not really sure what the theme is. It's supposed to be you're a magician doing magic tricks, but I don't get that either. The only thing I know is depending on the color of the die and the value of the die really can matter, can really strengthen your actions. But at the end, you have to pay. If you have like, all green die and their pit value is like $17, you have to pay $17. But if you have one purple, one green, and one orange, you only have to pay the highest of those, not all of them. And a white die counts for anything. Those are miscellaneous dies. So you can take great actions with those, but they cost a lot at the end of the round. You've got to make sure you can afford payments. You're going to start losing points. This game really builds over time. You have these cards that have these special actions, and then they have, in-game points. Well, not in-game, end of the round points. You have to cash one of them in. And the thing is, this is where the crux of the game is, because you're like, oh, wow, I can make a lot of points right now if I cash this in. But, I don't want to lose that ability. I love that about this game. This game is just, there's with the tents you're putting on your player board, there's like a Tetris feel to it. The dice, what color die you pick lets you move that color caravan around, or, access to this type of trick, or, this type of action. It's just so awesome. It is such an awesome game. And, of course, as you're putting Tetris pieces down and covering your board, you can cover up special bonus actions, too. Man, there's a lot of great things going on with this game. And I never would have thought the cover looked so strange. And still, when I thought I got this game at a steal at $20, I still see it at $20 now and then. I was like, it's a perfect game. It's a perfect game. If the competition wasn't so stiff, this would be even higher. But I've got a lot of good games right now, and they're just getting better as we go through it. So case in point, Stefan Fell comes with a favorite that everyone loves, Bruges. This recently got a reprint under the name Hamburg, which has the expansion in it. You should get that. But I have the old expansion, the old game of this. And this is where I told you earlier, you could grab a card, and there's like 6 different things you can do with that card. And you guys decide which is best for you. The game is awesome. I don't like 2 players. We played 2 players this year, and I hate 2 players on it. So I'll never do another 2-player with it. I got to have at least 4. I've never played with 5. I know you can play with 5. I think 5 would be awesome too. This is one that the more the merrier, because the more players you have, the more cards you're going through the deck faster, and the game won't go too long. You play with 2 players, it just feels like it takes forever. So I don't like 2 players. I won't play with that again, but any other player count's good. This game is just fantastic. I didn't even look at Hamburg. I didn't want to get it because I have Bruges already, but Hamburg should be decently priced now. And if you want to track down a copy, even copies of old Bruges have lost value since the expansion, since this reprint came out. But Hamburg will probably be your best bet to get a copy of this game because it's the same gameplay, and it's a pretty solid one. All right, number 28 is a new game in my collection. Look out. Here comes Venice. I have played Venice several times after I reviewed it. And I love that you have 2 gondolas and 1 gondolier. And every turn he's moving, unless you pay precious money, which is tight in the game, you have to switch gondoliers. And I thought, why is that a mechanism? But the thing is, though, you have to it's pick up and deliver in a way. And also you're trying to get area control or I don't know, better statuses in some of these buildings. And so you're trying to do 2 delivery methods at the same time and making sure, okay, where was I here? And it's like you're splitting your mind in 2. You have 2 different strategies going on each time. One with this gondola, one with this gondola. And the people who don't understand that are going to lose the game. Because I see people with 1 gondola and they just sit back and forth between them. They don't know what to do with that. No, you got to have 2 orders, and you got to be working on 2 orders at the same time. It's hard. It's hard to figure out what this order, to get your mind out of one and into the other. But the game is super solid, and it's a very beautiful looking game, first off. And I do have the Da Vinci's Workshop expansion. And I think you should get that because the board, even though I don't like the artwork as much, it's kind of penciled, like Leonardo penciled it out for you. But it's a better board to play on. That's what they did, because there's a lot of complaints with the base. If you have the base game, it's fine. But there's a few complaints with the boards being a little too small at times, where the Da Vinci's Workshop has a bigger board. And it has these extra players, which we really love too, which give you some powerful actions, but they take up room for your cargo, so you can't get the bigger victory points on your contracts. I don't even get them anymore. Some people get them still, and when they're having low, maybe they get small contracts on that gondola. But both this and the expansion are worth getting. I don't know how expensive the expansions are, but Venice is just a fantastic game. You'll see more from Brain Crack Games. I'm trying to look for their, I think it's called Brain Crack Games. I can't see them on my shelf right now, but they've really, really, really impressed me this year. Now, number 27 is a classic. It's a Red Cathedral. It's just right above this. It's right off camera. I did get the expansion. I don't see it. It's turned backwards there. And I like it. But it's not necessary. I like the extra deck of cards, I should say. The extra player board with the extra actions where you get extra victory points. Not really. I don't really care. I don't think I don't think it's worth your time to do it. The last time I played, me and my nephew largely ignored it because it just wasn't strategic for us. But I like the guilds, all the guilds. I got some promo guilds too, and so I mix them all up. It says only replace one of them or two. I can't remember, but I mix them all up. Now maybe there's a too powerful in action when you do that, but I haven't found any difference in it. But I just love that there's just different ways, different rewards when you activate dice in the four corners. This game is where whenever you activate a die, you're going to move it that many spaces on the pit value, and you don't re-roll these unless you spend some points or something, coin or something to re-roll them, which can be an effect because I found out one time there's no way we can get this resource in the game unless I re-roll. The game it's in a small box. It's got beautiful pieces. It's not a table hog. It doesn't take up space, and it's been hours and hours of endless fun for me. I have really enjoyed it. And you're basically just gathering resources to build the cathedral to get victory points. Duh. That's basically what it is. But it is a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that because there's lots of strategy in this one. And of course, have those bonus actions on the side of the board, the corners of the board, whichever corner you're picking the dice, you can also get that action too. And it's just makes the game different every time you play, having those extra guilds in there. So the expansion is well worth it, is what I'm saying. Anyway, Red Cathedral, my number 27. Number 26 is another new game in my collection. I told you Brain Crack would be back. Florence. I battled forever when I was thinking, which one do I like best? And after playing Florence once again, which is basically area control, you have your, I don't know what they are, the servants, then you have the madame, then you have the maestro, who's worth more points, and you're trying to impress these carriages with royalty coming around, just touring the town. And you're trying to move from one building to the next and be there to greet them, to get, and maybe give them a gift. You're kissing butt. This is a game about kissing butt. And every carriage scores differently. Like sometimes it's whoever has the most, or whoever has the elitist there, or what order your people are in gives you a certain order to grab certain points in the game. And it's action point driven with time, really. Your time equates to action points. So you can do things with different time, and you're trying to make the most of it. And this is very thematic. You're trying to make the most of your time to impress these royal caravans. The pieces look amazing, and the game is so much fun. In fact, someone in my gaming group, this girl, when you pass, you put a ring out on the board, and I went ahead and got the metal rings. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I did. I had to. So we put metal rings out there when you pass. But when you pass, there's a benefit for passing early because when it comes to you, you get like a little bonus something. And you don't want to keep, it forces the other players to end the game pretty quick because if one player just keeps, doling out their little timepieces one at a time, this person's getting more and more powerful. So I love that about the game. But overall, the game is beautiful. It's a beautiful board and everything, but it is so much fun. This girl figured out a method to score. I mean, she used her time wisely, I should say, and really started killing us. I mean, she wrapped herself around the board, and I was like, oh, how did this happen? But I love it because if you play your cards right, if you strategize just right, there's potentially a way to get a lot of points in the game. And it's just one that I've loved. Now, there's a third one in this trilogy of games called Ragusa, and I wanted to get that, and I wanted to like that, but it looks like garbage. I do not want that. And that's the game you see everywhere. The other two, no, they've gotten reprints. Florence got a reprint too, so you can get these pretty common everywhere. But Ragusa or whatever it's called, I was like, oh yeah, should I get that one too? No, it looks like garbage. It looks like it'd be very repetitive too. I don't know. You let me know in the comments if you disagree, because I've never played it, so maybe I should play it before I knock it. All right, number 25 is already on. Someone told me a long time ago when I first found out about the game, he's like, yeah, it gets old quick. Really, you snob? No, this bag builder is still high for me. This is the lowest it's been. It used to be a top 10 game back in the day, and I don't think they're coming up with any more expansions. They shouldn't for it. What we have is good enough, and I have this all blinged out. I have the premium wooden tokens for this. I got the metal coins, of course. I got what else did I get for this game? A lot of stuff the hard plastic tokens for it. Geek bit upgrades. So I've gotten everything for this. But this bag builder is just phenomenal. We played it quite often, which is why it's in the top 25. And I just love it. Now, the only thing I'll switch out and play is those different boards you can play where you send your men to I don't know what it is, the court or whatever. I switch those out, but I don't have to. I feel like I could just play it the same way every time because it does depend on there's a lot of ways to score points, what you're going to be building for, what you want to get good at, all these. And I got all the little promo tiles too. So there's a billion different, we're just figuring out someone found out a new building that we had never thought about. And he started using it for some purpose. It was like, wow, that you took a new strategy from one of these tiles and took a combination that really helped you out. Some people can play without getting a single one of those extra buildings. And I think that's bad, but it can happen. But you don't have to do everything to win the game in this. And that's what's beautiful about it. I think this is the first bag builder they say or something like that, or the bag builder that started it all. Every other bag builder that's come out, I've gotten a few in my time, like Groves I have, which I think is decent. But anything else, no. I just love playing Orleans. It is not, to this day, 6-7 years later, it's still not old, and I'm thankful for that. Number 24, it certainly isn't. It's an older game, but it's new for me. It's my shame on me game, Istanbul. That you're playing, it's not like Macau. I was gonna say it's like Macau, but it's not. You're just leaving a piece of you every time you move, and especially you making you go back to collect that servant too. Because if you run out of servants, that's a bad thing. Now there's always the fountain you can land on and gather all your servants up to go around again. I played the base game once, then I played the expansions. I'll never play without it all now. I love it all in there. That there's so many different ways to get gems is fantastic. I played this game more than once, and it's actually on my short list to play again. I'm hopefully going to be playing it tomorrow. As of this video, I'll hopefully be playing this game again tomorrow. But I just love how the game flows, even though there's different tiles. The iconography is very easy to understand. Listen up, Oak. I'm looking at you. Actually, I'm just looking at this camera, but I'm pretending it's the board game Oak. But Istanbul does it right. They get the iconography where you can really understand what's going on. Moves can really go quick after a while because you can kind of get a strategy on what you want. And I could kick myself because, like I said in my review, I got this game mixed up with 5 Tribes. I don't know why. I was very new into board games back then. And so every time I saw Istanbul, I thought, oh, yeah, I didn't like that game. Every time I saw 5 Tribes, I went, oh, yeah, there's that game again. Like, I kept getting those two mixed up for some reason. And then finally, I can't remember what happened. I think it was on sale or something. No, I was looking at a trade. I was looking at a trade to make a trade. And I saw the game. I said, well, let me look at this. And I looked at it. I was like, this isn't the game I played at Gen Con. And then I was like, what was the game's name? And then I found out it was 5 Tribes. I was like, stupid. So this game has been out of my collection just because of a misunderstanding from like 8 years ago. But I'm glad because I guess I wouldn't have the big box edition if I didn't have it. So great game. Big box edition is really cheap. You can get it for like $40 or less. And it's definitely worth your time. This is a fantastic game. No. There is one game that's higher on my list, a new game in my collection. But this is like the second highest, I think. All right, so number 23 is Outlier. This is a game you also get for $10, $5. It's super cheap, and it's so much fun. No one is playing this game, and they should. My gaming group have bought copies of this. They love the game so much they bought because it's super cheap too. You're rolling this die and then taking actions with those dice. And what if you don't have an action you can take? That's okay. You can just pass and get one of these little portrait tokens, which if you get 1, 2, and 3, they can get more powerful the more you cash in. And so you don't really waste a turn there. And of course, you're sending out your apprentices out into the world to collect the paint so you can paint the portraits that are out on the board. And sometimes you paint portraits because they're worth in-game points to you, or you paint them because they're the biggest victory points, or you paint, which one girl did and won. It was super smart. If you get the low point paintings, they come with a special ability in the game. And those special abilities can add up after a while. And even though I had the lead, she was doing the most powerful actions at the end of the game. She ended up winning. It made me take note not to pass up those small paintings if I have to paint for it. But such a simple, it's a simple game with a lot of strategy. Honestly, for the bargain board gamers out there, I'm your friend. I'm helping you here. Get this game, Outlier. Thank me later with a Christmas card. It's too late for Christmas cards, but you can thank me through a note in the comments. All right, number 22. I never thought I'd love a legacy game as much as I love Time Stories. The new Cavendish came out. We played it, my A squad, my B squad. We sat around one Labor Day, and played through the Blue Cycle. My B squad played through the Blue Cycle when this game came out back in April, and we played through it. And I love Time Stories. I love it. I will play through it all again. Now, I'm hoping the next one, sounds like the next one is the last one. When I'm looking at the story now, it looks like the next adventure is the last one. I hope they get it out of the way and get it done. I hope they end the story, because I want to hear. I'm a big fan of the macro story. No one liked the macro story. I love it. That's the reason I play this game. It's got this big overall story. It's kind of like Lost right now. There's more questions than answers. But if they can wrap it up and give it a satisfying ending, this will be one of my favorite games. Like I said, who plays a legacy game twice? Me. And again, give it a few more years, but I'd love to play this game again. I think Time Stories is so smart, such a smart game. And 3 years ago when it first came out, I'll be honest, it was number 2 on my list, and it should have been number 1. But I still kind of have a rule: no new game may never be number 1 on my list. I cannot have a new game as number 1. I think that's too cult of the new, and eventually it'll just fall down. And sure, this Time Stories wouldn't have been number 1 last year or this year, but I think now looking back, it probably deserved to be number 1 because I have never had a board game experience as good as the first time that I played through Time Stories. I just thought it was amazing. This game slips a little bit every year. That's because, only one expansion has come out in the past, 4 years? But hopefully they'll get on it and get that last expansion out quickly and in the storyline, which is going to be great. I'd love that, and not do anymore. I think the game has really lost a lot of steam with fans. Fans don't seem to, the big fans don't seem to care about it. They've moved on to other games that supposedly have done this better. But I love the macro story. I bought the book. There's a book about this that takes place in between, or you read it in between the seasons, the white cycle and the blue cycle. But I even bought the book. I've read that twice, I think now. So I'm really into the mythology about this. And even when we played this Labor Day, it was great. We had some super adventures, and they're just tales that we were always talking about. Like, we lived through these experiences, and that's what board games are, right? It's about the experience, and no experience has come close to the first time playing Time Stories. It's just awesome. I mean, would I like to play other legacy games like this? Absolutely. But the thing is, though, I keep looking at them and I go, but I did that with Time Stories too. So maybe I sit down and play someone's legacy game and maybe I'll get into it. But Time Stories is brilliant. And finally, at 21, Rushes of the Ganges. This is a great one. Everyone knows this game. This is a very popular game. You're trying to get money, which is very easy to get, or fame, which is hard to get, but it's a shorter track. And once these tracks cross over, that's when the game is over. Whoever's crossed over both their tracks the farthest wins the game. Kind of unique. It is dice placement a lot, which I love. Your dice can do several different actions, no matter if it's the 1 or the 6 or whatnot. It doesn't matter. There's different strategies for that. Now, lately, I've won this game a lot by using fame. I got on the fame track and can go through fame a lot faster than I can merchant. And now, in my last game we played, everyone started going through fame because they saw me winning. They said, "Oh, I'm going to grab fame." Well, there's not that much fame out there to grab, not many spaces to get fame. And so I turned around and showed them how to get money on the merchant side. And I started killing it in money and it didn't get as much fame. They were like, "Oh, yeah, I never showed you that strategy, you jerks." But if everyone's going for the merchant thing, I may go back to fame. Like I said, there's literally is 2 different paths to victory here, but you have to have a good balance of both to win it out, I think. And with all the little, I'll be honest, I don't play with anything from the goodie boxes anymore. This year I did not. And I need to correct that because we play it so much that it won't hurt to throw a few of those modules in from both goodie boxes. I'm glad they gave us the goodie boxes. I wish everyone would do like a goodie box of all the promos and maybe some special promos in there too. I think that'd be fun. They don't cost $20 now. I think they cost like 10, which is a decent price for them. But I have them all. I just don't use them. And maybe in the future, I'll start using them because, well, like I said, it won't really, it'll change the game a little bit for us, add some different strategies in there, I'm sure, but it won't make it complicated for anyone because as much as we play it, just awesome. So that's an awesome game. All right, folks, that is it for now. But folks, it's going to get heavy now. Competition is getting fierce as we go into the top 20. I will see you then.